Everybody leave the dressing room, please. I want everybody at the motherfucking dressing room, please.
This is crazy. See you later, girl. Call me tomorrow. How you doing?
What's up, everybody? I am Candiace, better known as Unicorn, and welcome back to the show. How you doing? How your mom and them? All right, look, before we get started with anything, make sure you go ahead, like, share, subscribe, do all the things that you know you're supposed to do when you come to somebody's YouTube house. Take off your coat, take off your jacket, take off your shoes, get comfortable, and as you're getting comfortable, like, share, and subscribe. And if at any point you're feeling it necessary, you're feeling a little stress up on your chest, put it down there in the comments. All right, now, first things first, let's address the elephant in the room. How we feeling about my little Red Riding Blood? I had a burp. How y'all feeling about my little Red Riding Blood bandana? Okay, we're a little hood today because we are in a mood. We are in a mood. Okay, all of this shit in the background, this is not supposed to be like this. Girl, I ain't even cleaned up before y'all came into my house, child. Hold on. Why y'all there? While y'all there, check out my my Mariah Carey charm bracelet vinyl. Oh yes, Warehouse of Taste. Okay, getting to it. Okay, things are falling. Okay, let's go ahead and just dive right on into the mess. Okay, so the internet was set ablaze because Candiace explicitly called out Giselle's privilege as it pertains to her proximity to whiteness. Now, if you are unfamiliar with the term proximity to whiteness, there's already a problem, okay? So a lot of what you may be feeling, the discomfort that you are feeling, is because you are in an unknown territory. That word might be new to some people, it might be old to some people, but it is not, that term, I mean, that phrase is not, it's not old. She didn't just make it up. This is not something new, and these women know that. But let's go ahead and get into it. So the elephant in the room is Candiace. One, so she pointed out that Giselle was acting like a victim, and that her proximity to whiteness affords her the luxury of being taken seriously. Because unfortunately in this country, in this world, your proximity to whiteness does afford you the luxury of being taken seriously, even when you are just flat out exaggerating or flat out lying. And Candiace called that out specifically. But here was what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to offer the Candiace haters and the girls who believe that colorism is a farce, I'm going to offer y'all a little bit of rope. Not any day on God's green earth would a light-skinned, multiracial black woman never would her word be taken over the word of a white man. This is about to be the only leverage I'm going to give y'all, but I'm about to just stick around because I ain't done. Never in a million years, I don't care how light-skinned Giselle is, I don't care what her eye color is, I don't care what is going on, as long as she is ambiguously black something, Giselle's word would never be taken over a white man. Like, that is the context that was missing there. So for all of you girls that wanted to have something important to say, have something to combat this conversation with, there was your argument right there. Because Candiace, you're married to a white man. You're not married to a black man. So you're not married to a dark-skinned black man. So like if anybody wanted to argue Candiace's point, that was that. You can't argue colorism. We're not doing that. But there was your argument right there. But hold on. Colorism doesn't mind a bit of collateral damage. Okay? So if we got to take out a white man to bring down this dark-skinned black woman, that's exactly what we'll do. So people will ignore the fact that they know that Giselle is absolutely exaggerating the story, because I am one of those people who don't necessarily believe that she felt uncomfortable. And if she did feel uncomfortable, from friend to friend, what you do is, in this situation, what you do is you pull your friend to the side and you say, hey, I felt a little uncomfortable. You take Candiace to the side. You say, Candiace, I felt a little uncomfortable. Chris wanted to have a conversation with me in my dressing room, which, you know, initially I agreed to, but when we got in there, nobody was in there, and he didn't see a problem with that. And I just felt like, as a single woman, I shouldn't be in this scenario. I think if you would have went to Candiace and said, hey girl, me and your man was in that situation and I didn't feel comfortable with that, then that would be one thing. And I think that Chris, being the man that we have known him to be for these last couple of seasons, he would have came back to you and he would have said, oh, Giselle, I had no idea that you were uncomfortable in that situation. That was not my intention. I hope that you know that it wasn't my intent to make you feel uncomfortable. That will never happen again. That is how that shit would have went with people who are friends, people who even fucking like each other. But then for you to wait 5 months till the cameras are rolling, then for you to unveil this in front of millions of people, that's not what friends do. But the fact that people even believe you in your people, the fact that people believe you and believe the fact that you have any genuine feelings towards this situation is colorism working at play. And it is not because they are trying to take Chris down, because these people don't genuinely believe that Chris was trying to make you feel uncomfortable. What they want to do is bring Candiace down, because if you notice that all of the comments online seems to always come back to Candiace. It never goes to Chris, the man who did something, to Giselle to make her feel uncomfortable. It never comes back to her. It always comes back around to Candiace. That is colorism working at play. That light-skinned woman is circumventing the situation, the white man, to bring down the dark-skinned black woman. Now, is she doing this consciously? Not saying that she's doing this consciously. Colorism is a very... Okay, I'm gonna get there because I have places to go. So then Candiace takes it a step further and she says, you sit here with your privileged white looking ass, and then the girls erupt. You would have thought that Candiace just spat on a baby, the way that the girls erupted, like, oh my God, no. Mia is about to have a goddamn heart attack. Mia was the most activated she's been this entire reunion. Your best friend just came out with the receipts that she was dating your boyfriend in Atlanta, and all these girls had all of this smoke for you. Giselle just said that you and your husband was embezzling from your company, and you didn't have that much energy for her. But as soon as Candiace accurately describes Giselle's skin color as being more... let me make sure I'm getting this. Because I don't want to say the wrong thing. Even though I'm going to be very clear. I want to be very clear in what I say. Because I can say the wrong thing. I don't give a fuck. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to say the right wrong thing. So... Giselle's color and her proximity to whiteness, that inspired you to be so vocal? That inspired you to protest? Oh, interesting. Another example of colorism at play. You feel so offended by Candiace comparing Giselle's skin or bringing attention to Giselle's proximity to whiteness that it brought you to chorus. It brought you to speak. It motivated you to protest. You have to understand the complexities in which your subconscious works, because you felt attacked by the dig that she threw at Giselle, because you and Giselle's color is not that far off. Now, while you are while you would never pass for like multiracial, you are still a light-skinned black woman. So that privilege that is afforded to light-skinned black women is also then lended to you. So now you felt the need that you felt your privilege being attacked, and you like, oh no, not on my fucking watch, not on my watch. You won't do this, Giselle, on my watch, you bitch. And then Ashley chimes in, which I thought was so funny because she is the most vocal of all of the light-skinned women on that cast, because I think that Ashley is one of those people who genuinely thinks that she doesn't have a problem as long as she's able to like blanketly say, oh, I know that I have privilege because that's what the books and that's what the internet tells me I have. She's able to accept it in that regard. But then what she tries to do was reverse colorism. The conversation was like, oh, so the whole conversation about colorism, that doesn't apply to you now? That doesn't mean anything anymore? Actually, let me tell you what doesn't work, okay? Reverse colorism is not a thing. Can dark-skinned black women have internalized colorist ideologies? Absolutely. But the way that colorism would never work is a dark-skinned black woman being colorist to you, being colorist to Giselle, because you two, I'm trying my best not to say the B word, but you two broads could never be the victims of colorism. You just can't. You just can't. I'm sorry that is not the way that colorism works, sister. It's not the way. It's not the way that it works. It's not the way that it will ever work. And I need you to get that, okay? And here's the thing about colorism, right? And I want everybody to pay attention. I want people to really listen to this part of the conversation. I want you to sink your teeth into this part, because while colorism is a global phenomenon, it is not just a black thing. It is not just, whatever. It's not just an American thing. I am talking directly to Black American people across our spectrum, the blackity black folk, and then the multiracial and the biracial black people, because this conversation is specific to us. The way that slavery has impacted us is at play all the time. Our subconscious is at work all the time, right? And we are all colorists. We are all conditioned into colorism. And the only way to combat colorism is to do the work. Are you the victim of colorism, or are you someone that is benefiting from colorism? That is the conversation. Somebody like Candiace, it benefits her to unlearn colorism because it negatively affects her. It impacts her everyday life. Her walking around this world as a dark-skinned black woman, it impacts her everyday life. So it benefits Candiace to unlearn colorism, right? Because once she unlearns it, it unlocks this whole new world of self-love and self-discovery that you didn't have before you got there. So it benefits Candiace to unlearn colorism. With people like Ashley, it doesn't benefit her to unlearn colorism. Actually, it does the opposite. It benefits her to ignore colorism. It benefits her to act like it doesn't exist. It benefits her to play into the ambiguous nature of colorism, because now she doesn't have to accept or acknowledge her privilege, and she doesn't have to now then be subjected to be like more responsible when using her privilege. She can slither about like using her privilege in ways to disenfranchise dark-skinned black people. That is the way that colorism works. Because it's so elusive, it's so insidious that you have to acknowledge it, you have to accept it. And when a dark-skinned black woman is telling you about her experience, you as a light-skinned woman, you do not get to negate that. You don't get to play on semantics. You don't get to say that I understand my privilege. I understand that I get preferential treatment. But you know, what if this is just the way that Candiace is, and what if this is the way that Robin is? No, what you need to do is take a step back and then assess the situation, understand that your subconscious is always at play. If you just took a step back and been like, you know what? The word choice that I chose to use for Candiace and Wendy here, calling Wendy ferocious, calling Candiace aggressive, labeling these women as that, but never labeling the woman that came into your restaurant and stuck her fingers in your face and was yelling and disrupting your fucking business as ferocious and as aggressive is two different things. But you recognize it when Candiace called Giselle a white looking ass. You understood colorism then, even though you really didn't understand it because colorism don't work that way, but you understood how colorism could work in that context. Interesting. Interesting. We love to see it, girl. We love to see it. And then so after everybody finished clutching their pearls and shielding their baby's eyes and running and ducking for cover after Candiace called Giselle's skin white looking. And I also want to just mention that, like, I understand why the women got so uncomfortable. I understood why everybody was uncomfortable because one, Black people hate for their privilege to, for their attention to be on their privilege. Black people hate that. If you want to test this theory out, please go ask a cisgender straight Black man about his privilege. If you want to test this theory out, go ask a cisgender straight Black woman about her privilege. If you want to test this theory out, ask non-binary, trans Black people about their experience with those people. I don't make the news, I just report it. I'm just saying. Anyway, so yeah, black people hate for their privilege to exist, for it to be called detention due, because for all intents and purposes, we are supposed to be the most disenfranchised, which we are. We are supposed to be the most marginalized, which we are. We're supposed to be the most persecuted, which we are. And then there are women on top of that. So it's like, yeah, it's like, oh, but you do have a little bit of power in this area. And now everybody is up in arms. Black people hate when their privilege is revealed to them. Me, a Black gay, okay? I am a Black gay man. My privilege lies in me being a man. I have privilege over a woman being a man because that is the way that our society is. I don't walk around here. I try, in me accepting and acknowledging my privilege, it allows me the power to use it and recognize when somebody is being disenfranchised right in front of me, and me being able to use my power to extend my power to them. That's my power as a man, you know? Still a Black man, still Black, still gay. So I do have 2 strikes against me now. But that man part counts for something. And whenever I have the opportunity to use it, I use it. You being light-skinned biracial, stop questioning Black women dark-skinned Black women when they tell y'all that this might be an evidence of colorism. Just be like, oh shit, okay, you know what? I didn't even recognize it in this way, but now my blinkers are on. Wendy. Okay. Initially, when Wendy spoke, I rolled my eyes because I was like, girl, what? Because I was being defensive of dark-skinned Black women and her being able, because Candiace did not say anything wrong. What she was saying was absolutely correct. That Giselle's proximity to whiteness affords her a luxury that Candiace just does not have access to. What Candiace was saying was absolutely correct. I want to make that very fucking clear, and I don't want to hear no ifs, ands, and buts about it. That is that on that, and period, point in the fucking blank. There's no talking about it, okay? However, when Wendy spoke, initially I rolled my eyes. I said, girl, what? I was in defense mode. But I watched it again, and I'm going to say that I am choosing that Wendy's intentions were to give her sister a chance to breathe. Because although people like you and I'm going to assume, you know, we here, we talking. People like you and I, we get it. We get it. We understood, and packaged with the emotion that she was feeling because her family was under attack. We get it. I understood it completely. But Wendy is a political commentator. And I think that she understood in that moment with the vitriol that broke out in the room and with all the girls clutching their pearls and acting like Karens, she understood that Candiace just gave herself a bit too much rope to hang herself with. And the intention and the message was lost in the delivery. She wanted to give her a chance to repackage that and send it off again in a clearer, more effective way that would hit the viewers more in their gut. And I think that Candiace is so smart that she picked up on it. She took a breath, she took a step back, still firm in her stance, and she said, I hear you, I understand what you're saying. Let me try this again. And then when Candiace rephrased her statement, she did exactly what I am choosing to believe that Wendy wanted her to do, was to rephrase your statement, because your initial intentions will get lost in this delivery. And that is true. I will give it that. Now, do I think that you should always have to cater to the people who are committed to misunderstanding you? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I do think that, what is the saying? Honey is sweeter than lemons. Girl, I don't know. But the sweeter the delivery, the more people will be able to connect with it. So when I hate to even sound like I'm trying to police her emotions, because she was rightfully emotional. She was rightfully and justifiably upset with Giselle. She was rightfully upset, and everything that came out of her mouth was justified. Everything that came out of her mouth, and not just even with Giselle, but I do think that Candiace, as a dark-skinned Black woman who has been living this life, all of her days, this is all that she knows. I think that all of that emotion and everything that she has been through as a dark-skinned Black woman came hurling out in that moment. And she needed the opportunity to tell one of these privileged, light-skinned, green-eyed broads what time it was. She needed to bust some bubbles. And I think she was right to do so. So I don't think that Candiace was wrong in the way that she delivered it at all. I'm glad that she did it the way that she did. And I'm also happy that Wendy extended an opportunity for Candiace to rephrase that statement and to say it more effectively. That is what I am choosing to believe with Wendy. Okay? Y'all, the rest of this reunion really was a bust for me. I don't really care about the other girls. I don't care. I don't care about Mia and Jacqueline. I don't care about Sharice and Karen. Like, none of that shit was compelling to me. None of it was interesting. I think that everybody was up there lying and shucking and jiving for the checks. I don't care. That's what I wanted to talk about this episode. I'm sorry if anybody is disappointed that I didn't get to everything else, but this was what was on my chest to talk about, and I hope that y'all understand my position and that I am clear as fuck that I stand with dark-skinned Black women on this issue. And I also okay. Okay. How am I gonna do this? I'm just gonna say it like this, right? Some of y'all out there are very, very opportunistic. I think at the time of Monique versus Candiace, it was very easy to pick up on the colorism conversation. It was very easy to do that. Season 5, maybe even season 6, it was very easy to pick up on the colorism conversation because the light-skinned girls weren't really under attack like that. Although the conversation was brought up, I just don't think that the light-skinned girls weren't really like the way that they were participating in colorism was so insidious and so covert. You really have to be watching with your goggles on in order to understand, right? So it was very easy to just pick up on it. And there were a few YouTubers out here who picked up on that and used all the buzzwords and used that situation to build their platforms. And unfortunately, the Bravo viewers fell for it. I've always said there are 2 Bravo viewers, okay? There are 2. The first group is the majority, the unwell, unread, and under a rock. That's the majority. The minority are people at the very basic level understand that 1 + 1 = 2. And I think a lot of y'all think that you understand that 1 + 1 = 2, but then y'all be like 1 + 1 could equal tulip. And we are just not the same. We are not the same people, okay? So I want y'all to be very cognizant of the people that y'all are supporting out there. And I want y'all, because if y'all don't believe that colorism exists, if y'all don't believe that dark-skinned black women, if y'all don't believe in Candiace in this moment, y'all don't believe in Wendy in this moment, I do not need your support. I don't. Please don't even waste your time commenting or whatever, because the girl's gonna give a swift block. I don't give a fuck. I don't need y'all support. Do not, because that is not the kind of community that I'm gonna build on this channel. So please see yourselves out, okay? And to all of you girls, I'm choosing peace. Because I could very well go into a place of violence and start calling names specifically, but I'm not gonna do that because y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about in general. Y'all know what is going on, and y'all know the people who are using colorism and all these buzzwords in order to attract an audience. The proof is in the fucking pudding, okay? But yes, y'all, that is all I have for this season. It has been such a great, great season of Potomac. This hasn't been a great season of Potomac, but I'm happy that I embarked on this journey. I have been trying to start my YouTube. This has been a thought of mine for the last maybe 10, 12 years to start a YouTube channel. And I think that I had to like talk myself up and out of my social anxiety and my stage fright and my camera shyness in order to be able to do it. And I'm so happy that I stuck through these 4 months and did it. I hope to continue from here. I hope to grow from here. If y'all have anything to teach me, I'm willing to learn. Like, I'm so excited for what's to come. And because I do have a good feeling about this channel, I do have a good feeling about just myself in general and getting to this place where I'm getting more comfortable behind the camera and I'm getting more comfortable with like talking to people or whatever. So I just want to thank y'all, all of y'all who subscribed during this 4-month period. I think I like doubled my subscription since the last time I like uploaded or whatever. So I'm really thankful. I think one of my most watched videos at that time, one of my most watched videos for like housewives in the last 4 months was almost 3,000 viewers. And that to me is like, I'm like, bitch, I was like, oh my God, y'all liking something? What? Y'all like me? No. But I'm just so appreciative for y'all sticking around and watching and y'all commenting. Like, whenever y'all comment, I genuinely get a little bit of like, y'all care about what I'm talking about? Girl, get out of here. Y'all dumb. But yeah, no, I just really appreciate it. I don't want to ramble on too long. But yes, thank you. And this is the end of Potomac, but not the end of me. So I will be coming back around and figuring out what I'm going to do from here. And I want to expand this channel to different things. And I want to be able to talk about different things. I want to branch off and do interviews. I want to branch off and do just so much more with this channel. And I hope that y'all stick along for the ride. So yeah, toodles.